What's up? Hey, hello everyone. Wow, so it's been like a week maybe since we've done one of these talking videos, but today we are going to be doing our Dream All Winners cast, and then next time maybe we'll do our Dream like Second Chance kind of cast. So my name is Rachel.
And I'm Alyssa, and you guys will notice that we probably won't be saying some of the winners that you think should be on an all winners cast, and that's because we mentioned them in our last video, which was like a Dream Game Changers cast. So if y'all are wondering where your favorite winner is, go and check out that video and see if they were mentioned in that video instead.
So this is our last talking video on the same coast because I go back to school tomorrow and then Alyssa starts in a few weeks. So this is super crazy. Our last like home video with these backgrounds.
Yep, it's definitely crazy. So what we each did was we each picked 10 people, 10 winners that we thought would be good to see in an all-winners season. And basically, that's 2/3 of the people who have ever won the game. So most of these people, you might be like, well, why'd they pick those people? And it's because we didn't want to pick winners who like really, really suck. So
So yeah, we'll do the same thing like we did last video. We'll start with the males. I'll do one, then Alyssa will do one, and then we'll go to the females. So we each picked 10 people total, 5 males and 5 females. So I guess I'll start us off. First one for males, I had to pick Adam Klein, the Bay. He won season 33, Millennials versus Gen X, and I felt like Adam would be a good person for an all-winner season. He says that he wants to play the game, like no matter what kind of season or whatever. So he has played recently last season. I think it'd be interesting to see how like well he does on an all-winner season, because we see all of these like super duper fans playing with all of maybe like the regular people, but more recently in Survivor we've seen more super duper fans play the game. So it'd be an interesting challenge to see how well someone like Adam can do compared to a lot of other super duper fans of the show.
yeah, and Rachel also just really likes Adam, which I'm sure you know if you've ever watched any video on our channel before. Uh, so the first male winner that I picked was Jeremy Collins, who won in Second Chances. And I picked Jeremy mostly because I feel like a lot of the reason he won in Second Chances is because he had such a great like Second Chances redemption arc type thing. And I feel like the theme of the game really helped him out. And I would wonder if like an all winners theme would also be a boon to him. And also since his strategy was like keep bigger threats around long enough to be my shield, that would also be a really interesting strategy to see come into play in an all winners season.
Yeah, definitely. And you know who said Boone? Evan Klein, when he was on the family visit. LOL, I really like that word. So going off of more recent seasons, I would also want to see Tony, who won Brains, Brawn, Beauty 1. And he's also coming back for the next season of Survivor Game Changer. So I don't know how this will affect maybe potentially doing a winter season in the future. But I think Tony's just sort of like super OP. He, in his season, didn't just vote out like who would be easy to vote out, but he flipped between voting out like the opposing alliance while also flipping back to like vote out members of his own alliance who he considered targets. He found a lot of immunity idols, and overall I think he was like very good TV with like the whole llama talk and like spy shacks, and I really think this sort of evolved Survivor gameplay in a way.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. So the next person that I chose as a winner that I'd like to see is R.S. Baskauskis. I still don't know how to say their last name. I'm sorry. But I think it's interesting since he won his first time, and then when he came back for Blood versus Water, he did not do as well. So I would wonder if he'd be able to like bring it back around, or if he kind of like hit his high and now he's on his way down.
Wow, that's super interesting, because I feel like Alyssa, you picked a lot of Survivor winners who eventually came back and played another season, and I feel like my survivor choices are like the one-time winners who haven't even played the game again. So my next one is Earl, who won Survivor Fiji, and that was actually the first season with only 19 castaways because one person like quit right before filming started, and I guess they didn't have like the alternates and stuff. And everyone but one person on this season was recruited for the show. Earl has never seen the show, and before going out there, and he knew he was going to be on Survivor 2 days before filming started. So I felt like he was very sort of like dropped into Survivor situation throughout the season. He was very close with Yowman. They found two idols like using each other and clues and stuff like that. And Earl is the first unanimous Survivor winner, winning 9-0-0. He only had one vote cast against him the whole time. And so I don't know, I'd be interested to see how someone like Earl can do in modern gameplay, because he did play a while ago on Survivor, has never come back to play the game, never even saw Survivor before going out there. So I would be interested to see if his gameplay would stay the same or change coming back on a cutthroat kind of season like Winners. And also, I don't know, Fiji was sort of a ratchet kind of season because one tribe started at a disadvantage, like with nothing. So yeah.
Yeah. One thing you said about me picking a lot of winners who then come back to lose, I think it's a nod a little to like the game of Survivor as a whole, just because you can't like win Survivor once and then expect to win again just because you came back to Survivor. So I think that it shows that the game really does change depending on who you're playing with and what strategy you use and stuff like that. So that's just a little side note. So speaking of another Survivor winner who came to play again, Ethan Zahn, who won, he won a long time ago, and I think that is interesting because since he won and since he played in All-Stars, like a lot has happened to him. Like he went through an entire battle with cancer, and I feel like he's grown up a lot since that happened. Not that he was ever like a kid before, but obviously that sort of thing gives you a lot more maturity and gives you a different worldview and stuff like that. And also I think that since he was on Survivor so long ago, people might see him as like less of a legitimate threat because he won so long ago. So yeah, I think it would be interesting to see him play again.
No, yeah, definitely. So another Survivor winner who has never played again that I chose was Yule, who won Cook Islands. I felt that Yule was pretty dominant and like in control of the game since the early gameplay in that season, and even with the mutiny leaving his alliance 8-4 and then merged, they were still outnumbered with 5-4. He used his immunity idol as leverage to get Jonathan Penner to flip over to make it like 5-4 with his group in the majority. And I felt like with all of these battles, like his 4 made it to the final 4, which is so crazy. Like just watching that all play out is super, super neat. And Penner is actually in the new Bye Bye Man movie, so we have to go see that. Side note, but yeah, fire challenge for the final 4, like so ratchety because neither of them could use Flint or the matches, and then Becky makes final 3. And I think this is like the closest time Ozzy will probably ever come to winning the game. And I think it'd be interesting if instead of Yule winning, if Ozzy won that season, like how things would have changed, because after Ozzy lost, he came back a lot more times for different seasons, and Yule since has not come back. And I think Yule would be great to come back, and I would want to see him play again.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he'd be like one of those people who'd be willing to like come back again just because there are people who don't want to ruin their perfect record. So I'm realizing that what you said about me choosing like players who have played multiple times, it's I think that every single one of my players has played multiple times. So
all mine but one has played only once.
Wow. But anyways, my next pick is Tyson Apostle, and he was in Tocantins, and then he was in Heroes versus Villains, and then he won Blood versus Water. So contrary to my other people who won and then came back and lost, Tyson lost, came back again, lost, came back again, and then won. So I'm calling that a win. I think that it's interesting because Tyson has shown that he's able to evolve his gameplay, and like he's shown that previous losses have helped him learn instead of just being like, oh, I lost. So I think it's also interesting because he was on 2 themed seasons. In Heroes versus Villains, the villains obviously like having that whole like reputation to uphold, I feel like changed the game a lot. So, and then Blood versus Water, obviously you have to think about your person that you're playing with. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I really like Tyson. He would be one of like the Survivor players who I'd want to meet. I think he's super funny and like quirky, and it's just his whole personality is super like interesting, and I would want to meet him. So my final male is Chris, who won Vanuatu. I think Chris is super like interesting because he sucked ass at this first immunity challenge. He could not get across a balance beam, which shows you guys practice balance beams before going out there because it is the bane of some people's existences. So after this first immunity, the males lost because it was split like males females at the beginning, and then Chris gets the older like dudes on his tribe to vote out all the young hot dudes, and then it was like 6-4 at the merge, but the males and Chris thought they would be in the majority with 6, but they ended up in the minority with 4. And since that point, the females picked off the rest of the 3 males, and Chris was the last one standing. And then Chris finagled his way, and then he won final immunity to secure his spot in the final 2. And I think this whole like arc of almost being voted out first immunity, first out of this game, to winning final immunity and then getting his spot in the final 2 and winning the game is such a like nice arc, and I would be interested to see if like Chris coming back, he could do balance beams. You know, he definitely has this strategic mindset, but I'd be interested to see like how his game has played because it has been a long time, and you know, he has finagled his way out of other circumstances. I think on an all-winner season, he could do pretty well like with his strategy.
I think that is very true. So continuing my pattern with people who have won and come back and lost, Tom Westman, who won Palau and then returned for Heroes versus Villains on the Heroes tribe and lost. I really liked Tom in Palau. I thought that he was a really great person. He's like one of my favorite like Survivor winners, like on a personal level, just because I think that he seems like a really great guy. So yeah, I think that Tom is a good person, but I think it would also be interesting. He'd be one of those players, like, would his gameplay be able to adapt to a modern strategy? And I think that Heroes versus Villains didn't really bode well for him. So that would be interesting.
Yeah, so that rounds out our group of the males. Should we go through who we all said, then move on to the females?
Yeah.
So my 5 males were Adam, Earl, Yule, Tony, and Chris.
And mine were us, Jeremy, Tyson, Tom, and Ethan.
Okay, so moving on to females, I picked 4 females that have only played the game once. They won their first season, and then one who has played the game multiple times. But my one that has played the game multiple times is Sandra. So I'll start with her and then move on to the others. So Sandra, but she won Pearl Islands and Heroes versus Villains. So I guess like she's played and won both times. And I don't know, 2-time winner, she definitely has to be a part of the all winners dream cast. Like 100%. I want to see how Sandra will do against other winners, because a lot of like, even with returning players, Heroes versus Villains, she was often underrated and like overlooked as a player. So having won 2 times, I would be super interested to see how well she does. And any person who goes on an all-winner season, someone is going to become a 2-time winner out of this season. So it'd be interesting.
Yeah. So one of the people I've chosen that has only played the game once, unless I like missed something, I chose Visepia Towery. She won Survivor. Shoot, what was the name of the season? She won Survivor Marquesas. That's the name of the season. I remember the number, but not the name. But anyways, her strategy was kind of an under the radar type strategy, and I feel like a lot of the winners that we think of as like winners in Survivor don't really do that. Like, an under the radar strategy isn't really appreciated as much, but I think it would be an interesting strategy to see, like, when all the other guys are like trying to get out the huge threats, if she could just slip by and then win, basically because she was the one not voted out. So I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, so speaking of under the radar kind of strategies, my next person is Danny, who won Guatemala. And I don't know, I think her gameplay was very simple yet effective. In like post-season things, she says that she hid her gameplay from production and cameras so that like her ideas and strategy and stuff won't get accidentally like spilled at tribal council from like Jeff or anyone like that. So I think because of this, like on TV, she is sort of like doesn't get a lot of screen time or is seen as like under the radar because she is like a legitimate strategy, like hiding what you're doing from production. And I think that's really interesting. I have not heard of like anyone else really doing that. And I don't know, she was the last person in her alliance at the merge, but she was like able to work her way in instead of being totally pagong. She was able to work her way in and win the game. So I think, I don't know, it's just so cool that she hid her gameplay from production. She won the season, and I think it'd be interesting to see her coming back as well, because with I think all the females we chose, we definitely chose a kick-ass like group of girls that could all like be so good at the game.
Yeah. So this is another player I chose who's only played once, Natalie White, who's the sole survivor of Survivor Samoa. And basically, I think that anyone who can deal with Russell Hantz for 39 days deserves like an award. So I feel like getting to return to Survivor would be that award. No, but basically, I think that it's really interesting because she took someone could help her strategically and kind of used his own strategies against him, I guess. Like, she painted him as the villain that he's like known as at the final tribal council so that she could basically get the jury votes, not because Russell was a goat, but because Russell was just not a very sympathetic character and not someone you want to give $1 million to. So I think it would be interesting because I feel like the other people that we've chosen in to be on our all winners cast, none of them are really like Russell, where they're so unlikable. So I think it would be interesting to see if she could do something similar to that, or if she'd have to like fall back more on people voting for good strategy rather than good social play.
No, yeah, I think that's interesting because in our dream Game Changers cast, we mentioned we wanted to see Russell come back, and then we also mentioned how seeing someone like a Michelle Fitzgerald would, and like sort of like a Natalie White kind of thing. It's sort of like the same kind of like thing with that, so I think that'd be super interesting to see. So my next person is Denise, who won the Philippines, and she is the first person and only one to go to every single tribal council. So that in itself, as well as winning the season, I think it'd be super great to see her play again. You know, once their original tribe dwindled down because they were on like the suckiest tribe ever, and her and Malcolm were separated, her new tribe lost immunity. Like, Denise could have been the easy vote out of here because she was the odd woman out. And Denise knew when to vote Malcolm out of the game. And Denise is the oldest female survivor winner at the age of 41. So I think Denise coming back as an older female as well, because we don't really see it many older females get that far in the game. I would want to see Denise play again.
Yeah, I think that Denise would be a great choice to play again. So the next person that I chose to be on the All Winners Dreamcast is Amber Burkitch, who's now Amber Mariano. But anyways, I think that sometimes she can get a lot of flack just because like her whole relationship with Rob is kind of what allowed her, because people say that Rob was kind of thinking with his dick instead of with his head when he brought her to the final two with him. But I think that she was a really great, I'd like to see her be able to play again kind of outside of Rob's shadow, I guess, especially because Rob's played so many times now. So I think that would be interesting. And again, keeping with the theme of like players from older seasons, I would like to see how their strategy has evolved. So
Yeah, so my next one is Kim from One World. I think Kim was totally on top of the game the entire time. She was definitely OP throughout this game. And I think a lot of people don't really like One World because it's sort of predictable, sort of like White Collar, No Collar, Blue Collar, where Mike Holloway, if Mike did not win, like the cast and season would have been like a total bop. So I think that's the same as One World. Like, Kim needed to win that season. I think she was in the leadership position when she needed to be. She fell back when she needed to be. And she won 4 out of the 5 final immunity challenges. So it'd be interesting, Kim, as sort of like an athletic prowess as well as a strategic prowess, how that will fare in like an all winners cast season. Because I think Kim is very, like, in the Survivor universe, she is very sort of seen as one of like the best winners. So that'd be interesting to see if she'd have a target on her back because of this, or whether she would be able to get like in there as she did in One World.
Yeah. So the next player that I chose to be on our All Winners season is Jenna Maraska, and she was the sole survivor of Survivor the Amazon. And then she came back for Survivor All-Stars, but she left Survivor All-Stars because she felt like she needed to be home because her mother with cancer was dying. And her mother did die. And I feel like that's one of those stories where Jenna definitely could have done better in her season if she hadn't decided to leave. And I would have liked to see how All-Stars would play out if she had not chosen to leave. Obviously, it was the right choice for her to make since her mother did end up passing away. But I would like to see her play again, and I'd also like to see, like, again, how that experience changed her and would possibly change her gameplay.
Yeah, so I think this is the last female. So rounding out my 5 females, I have Natalie Anderson, who won San Juan del Sur. And I think Natalie was like very subtle and strategic after her twin got first one voted out of this season, and then Natalie moved sort of into more big blind sides once Jeremy was voted out. And I think Natalie played the game really well. Maybe it's sort of like coming from the Amazing Race to Survivor thing may have helped her whole like reality TV appearances. So maybe we'll see like Caleb next season from Big Brother to Survivor to actually play Survivor this time, if sort of doing other reality TV helps you on this kind of reality TV. And I think one of Natalie's like best moves was giving the hidden immunity idol to Jacqueline when they voted out Baylor to break up the whole Baylor Missy thing. So I don't know, I'd be interested to see if Natalie, having been on The Amazing Race twice, having played Survivor and won one time, if going on Survivor 2 times will like help her gameplay, or like if she'll get voted out early because she is so she has done a lot of reality TV appearances.
Yeah, I would agree that maybe too much reality TV would be like a little too much. But of course, the person that I'm about to say is also kind of like a reality TV icon. And that would be Parvati Shallow. And she won Survivor Micronesia. And I love her. And I love her a lot. So I feel like she's kind of the epitome of like a good Survivor player because she had a great social game. She had a great strategic game. And she also had like, I wouldn't say a great physical game, but she had a solid physical game. And there are a lot of people who think that she should have won Survivor Heroes versus Villains and become the second 2-time win or the first 2-time winner instead of Sandra. So I feel like it would be interesting to see her play again in an all winners cast. Obviously, I don't think she could win just because she's got that whole like mystique, and everyone says that they want to be like Parvati Shallow. But
that is very true. So that rounds out our 10 females. The 10 are Denise, Kim, Danny, Sandra, and Natalie Anderson, as well as.
And then I had Jenna, Vesepia, Amber, Parvati, and Natalie White.
Yeah, so if you guys have any other winners that you would want to see play on an all-winners season, you should definitely comment in down below. Next time, I think we'll be posting the Rainbow Cube Challenge.
Oh, that's going to be a fun video to watch, so you guys do not want to miss that. But thank you all for watching. We love to read your comments, and we love chatting with you during our live show. So Please remember to comment even after the live chat box is down, because we like to hear from you and we like to have records of all of our memories together.
Yes, so we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much, and peace out.
Bye.